know. Constantly.
Easy.
I know. You
How
know
you
what?
doing? How you doing? Once again, you got me, Brian Glaze Gibb, in the lovely Dr. Lisa world. And basically make sure you do subscribe. You see it right there? Everything is right there. You can see it. So make sure you subscribe to Dr. Lisa World and the Brian Glaze Gibb platform. You know what? We just did a powerful piece yesterday. And right now is we decided to come back. Why we decided to come back? Because once again, as far as like if you look at what is going on in the hip hop community, when you got um Boosie, I'm pronouncing his name right because they say, am I pronouncing his name right? Boosie,
Bootsy,
Boosie,
Bootsy,
Boosie,
Bootsy, bad.
little Boosie, Boosie badass. You know, right now from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. At this present time, he's getting to a war word with Terrance Gangsta William. And if anybody know anything about Terrance Gangsta William is the brother of Birdman and Slim William. You know, they are part of what? Cash Money Record. Terrance just came home from doing 24 years, to be exact, 23 years and 10 months. So he came home. And right now is Boozy allegedly he went on Vlad, and as you can see, and basically what he tried to say is that he's taken, I'm saying, strike away from Terrance. He's taken him out of his legend book. And if you listen to the conversation, it's like, how can a person that don't even know this person can take this stuff so passionate?
Mm.
And it's like right now, it seems like it go deeper than the original surface. So what we're trying to say is that some type of form of a meltdown, some type of form of like mental illness, mental health. Like how in the heck he taking this stuff so personal?
Mm. Well, it's. Let me start off by saying it's nice to see you again so quickly. So many things happen every day, all day, that we would probably be going live every day because there's tons of things that have been coming across my, you know, quote unquote desk, my virtual desk, all day. And then I was busy today. As you know, you can see I'm in my sundress. So I was taking care of some Saturday business, self care, and wanted to get really dressed up for something I had to do. But this was important. So we have a really brief time to sort of have this conversation. Yeah, I had the opportunity to take a look at, you know, Bootsy's response to Gangsta, to Terrance. You know, we just love Terrance, and his authenticity and his ability to live in his truth and to understand how this social media thing works. And so completely, you know, respect the response. I thought I was a little concerned around like Boosie's response to Vlad in that interview, around sort of feeling as though he looks up to Gangsta, and that the entire like community where he grew up looked up to Gangsta when he was living a very antisocial life, a destructive life, that he was when he was on a path of to going nowhere, when he was destroying his community, when all of these things that were extremely negative. And Boosie, and with all due respect to him, I've heard different commentary from him around a variety of things. And there are times when he makes amazing sense around so many things. And I was curious around like not just Boosie, because Boosie is mature now, and you know, like all of us, we're getting at that point in life where we're making, you know, other decisions and other plans. But when I'm thinking about young people, do they look up to bad people in that way, that they can't see beyond? When I say bad people, not that Terrance is bad, whatever he did before, or whatever those behaviors were. I don't know what everything that Terrance was involved with. I don't know Terrance like that. But you know, based on Terrance, you know, willingness to share, there was a lot of things. And he was just tired of being in prison, you know, and he asked his God, you know, his creator, to show him the way. And, you know, if that meant that he had to make certain decisions around things in order for him to at least be a presence for whatever time that his God, which is Allah, allows for him to spend on this earth, to I guess provide some kind of guidance to young people so they don't go down that path. I think that's stronger than anything else that Boosie can sort of say around him snitching or telling on, and these are supposed to be people who are already deceased, and all that kind of thing. Isn't it about building our community up? Like, we don't necessarily have the same sort of energy when it's around all these corporations. And it's funny, when I was out today, I was like filming like all of these corporations that are opening up all over the place, and I'm wondering who's behind that. Where are the partnerships? Where's the money coming from? Like, our communities, we have all of so many issues and struggles, and we're not putting the level of energy in making that change. But the energy that was put into two very adult men whom are really influencers now. Gangsta, you're an influencer. You're an influencer now. Influencers to like go at it for around this issue was concerning for me, only because of the children and the babies, and that's where my heart is.
Exactly. And even right now, like I say, what I'm gonna do is I got to interested. It's the same guy. He put up two. What he say? Flip TV, hood TV. It's like finding out your superhero is fake. And then he went on to say, that man a rat. Salute Boosie. And see, even right now, I'm gonna hop on that for a minute. Because once again, let
I'm
he or
out of
she,
my lane.
but
Yeah.
I'm saying I'm gonna hop on that. Let he or she who have not sinned cast the first stone. A lot of times people want to pass judgment, and a lot of times people want to say what they will do and what they will not do. Nobody will know what they will do or what they will not do until that time comes. And once again, where as far as like it's like finding out your superhero is fake. It's not finding out your superhero is fake. It's finding out your superhero was destroying his community, was killing his own people, was poisoning his own people, was taken from his own people. And right now is guess what? Sometime when you hit rock bottom and you behind the walls, you in the cage, you start to reflect back upon what you was doing, what was right, what was wrong. And once you get true identity, and sometimes that comes from pain, because when you dishing it out, it's a different than receiving it. When you dishing out, it's cool. But then again, when you start receiving that pain, when you start losing people that you love and care about, then your whole attitude and saying perspective changed. So once again, it was nothing fake about him because, like I say, at one point in time, I was like that gangster. I was like him, Eminem. But the difference, guess what? You think you can do what you want to do to other people and their family. I remember something that took place, and I said I was going to do this and that, and my mother said, "Look, boy, you got to remember, you got a child now." And see,
Mm,
this woman always knew what to say. You know what I'm saying? You can't go around doing something to other people's kid, not knowing
mhm,
right now you got a child now. And a lot of times we think this is something that we really want because once again, we are so lost as a community that I don't want to be a doctor. I don't want to be a lawyer. I don't want to be a politician. You know what? I don't want to be the mailman. I don't want to be the sanitation man. I want to be a gangster. I want to be a pimp. I want to be a number runner. I want to be a criminal. How backward is that, man? That is real, real backwards.
yeah, and I'm concerned, not just as me as Dr. Elisa, but as a society, that when people think of our people, they think of us in this way, that we are glorifying, uh, I would say, dysfunction. We're glorifying pain. We're glorifying violence. We're glorifying destruction. Where is it? Where are we when it comes to uh, ensuring that our families are intact? Where are we when it comes to investing our money? Where are we in terms of our savings? How are we dealing and managing our debt? What do we own in this country? How are we coming together and keeping that? Yeah, this person is like solid because they have this. Like, where are we there? That to me is sexy. That's attractive. And that's where we should be. But to say that gangsta is, I'm just disappointed because he went down a certain road. Now, let me say this with in response to, not necessarily not in support of anything, but just to sort of build on what Boosie was saying. I think, and I can't speak for him, and that's not what we're here to do. But if he was saying like that from where he stood in his experience, Gangsta was really seen as this sort of like he said, a superhero, right? He was someone that people sort
bad
of looked
man.
up, a
He
bad man,
was a
like he was
bad
the
man.
bad man, right? And so in where they were coming from, if that was all they had as their sort of, if that's all they had in terms of their models, their role models, if that's all they had, then you can't blame Boosie because he's living in that world, the world where that's all they had was gangsters, and that was all that they knew in their community. And when you see people that stand strong on their square in those communities, that means a lot. But is that healthy? Just because we've been doing it a lot of times doesn't mean that it's good, right? Because familiarity often breeds a level of understanding. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you understand. Because you're familiar with people of color doesn't mean that you fully understand their experience in America.
Okay. Like even when I'm listening to every word that you say, and I respect every word that you say, but look at what he's saying. Basically, what he's saying is this: they praise him, they idolize him, they put him in their the legend book, because of he was this gangster, he was this killer, he destroyed and destruct our community. So once again, like you remember a song years ago on that the rap group that came along, like all these rapper hip hop stars kind of came together and they came up with a song, Self Destruction. You headed for self destruction, self destruction. So right now, black on black crime. So right now, even was a part in there. He said right now, I think it was Kumo D. I never had to run from the Ku Klux Klan. So why should I have to run from a black man? Self
Mm,
destruction. So what
yeah.
I'm saying is, if
Shout
you
out to also Public Enemy and all the songs
yeah,
that they
please.
made around that.
But,
Yes.
but sit back and think about it. Listen to the words. So once again, even right now, as Boosie, badass, little Boosie, okay, look, as the powerful as he is, because he is quote unquote an entertainer. Okay,
Well, he's actually an influencer,
he's an
right? He has,
influencer,
yeah, he's an influencer,
and people are listening to the words that come out
right?
of his mouth. But yet, and still, you can have a bunch of people following you for the right reason or following you for the wrong reason. So,
Right.
what are you saying? You got to be very cautious of the words that come out of your mouth,
That's what's
even when you're
concerning.
trying to criticize.
Yes.
Different is you saying this man, everywhere they talk about it, he was a living legend. But once again, history was made. But we're gonna take him out of it. You can't strike somebody once what's done is done. You cannot change it. Only thing right now, what Terrance is doing since he's been home, he trying to right his wrong. He knew where he went wrong at. He knew, like, yo, that's not the type of life that he want. He know what direction he going in. And as he's saying, what he's trying to do is, how do he utilize his platform to save these at-risk kids? Not just kids, but anybody that's at risk that need help. So once again, I commend that. I praise that. So once
Yeah.
again, like I said right now, is when you listen to somebody and they talk about, right now, I'm taking strike. How the hell you can take strike? What is done is done. And to
Right.
me, right now, even my situation, when I made a deal or whatever, everybody talking about, oh, you this, you that. Oh, I don't, you know what? Let me tell you something right now. I was a fool. I was a lost, sick individual. And right now is, guess what? It took, like I told you before, the death of my mother to help me to understand the suffering that I directly, indirectly inflicted upon the victim and the victim family. So once again, guess what? We are brainwashed. We are caught up into that, that make-believe world. What we saw on the television, what we saw at the movie theater. Right now, what we see when we see Ghost and Tommy on Power. But people do not understand when that show go off, Ghost go back to his wife. You know what I'm saying? Ghost in prison. But when that show go off, he go back home. Ghost in the graveyard. But when that show go off, go home. The difference right now in real life, you know what? When you go to jail, you go to jail. You ain't going home. Okay, when you go in that graveyard, guess what? You go in that graveyard. You ain't getting up after no time, after the service over. Oh, let me get up and go back to my regular life. It is over. So once again, what we have to do is make sure whatever, even being an influencer, even trying to give people advice, you know what? Make sure we are choosing the right words that come out of our mouth, because guess what? These people are listening. You think they ain't listening, but they are listening. So we got to choose our word wisely and make sure right now is, if we're going to, it's easy to take value away. What we got to start doing, get away from that crab in the barrel, how to add value.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think also that, in terms of Boosie, like it felt like his way of showing respect, um, and not, I just don't want to blame him for like just ignorance. I think his way of what he learned and how he experienced life was that you must honor thieves. You honor the bad people. You honor those who aren't doing the right things in life for whatever reason in their community. Um, why he feels that way is, I think, the question. Why do so many people feel like Boosie? Why do so many feel that the highest respect must be paid to those who, destroy the community or hurt other people? Like, where does that come from? And why is it that now we're unable to even control this situation, with so many young rappers being murdered, so many people being hurt, so many innocent people also being hurt? Like, how do we address this dysfunctional behavior? Because this is very unhealthy. And I guess for Bootsy, for any other reason, is that he's a mature man. So there's an expectation that even if he felt a level of, sort of issues with whatever, Terrance did, and that's Terrance's life, and Terrance has to manage that and deal with that. There's just a way to handle it that doesn't feel like he's leaning into the negative aspects and the dysfunctions of our community, which is very, very destructive.
And even right now, how do we change that? How do, even right now, like what I want to do is, honestly speaking, like I told you, when I went through what I went through, when I became who I became, money and murder, when I was that lost individual, I was lost, now that I'm found. When I got my life back, and shout out to 25 years of freedom, 25 years of getting back out and changing my ways, changing my behavior, changing my attitude, changing my perspective. Stop being a problem, now seeking to be a solution. So even with that being said, it took help. It took recognition, understanding what was my weakness, where did I want to stray, what do I need to do to make sure when I got out, I do not go back through that, that revolving door, that multi-billion-dollar prison system.
Well, the interesting thing is Boosie has figured out a way not to go in and out of that multi-billion-dollar criminal and justice system, or injustice system. But I also think that, it's better if you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything at all, particularly around those situations that we know directly impact and influence our young people and our communities. And for whatever again, why Boosie felt to express a level of compassion and passion around this issue is a concern. And I think, if I mean, I would love to speak with him about that. Like, where does that come from and why? And if that is something, how can we fix that in our young people? Is that why they sort of gravitate towards gangs? Is that why they're out here with guns and just shooting down people? Like, is that why they're hitting folks with cars and then robbing them? Is that why adults, people like Bootsy's age, feel in many ways afraid to go into certain spaces because we know there's a certain element in the community that could potentially cost you your life? Like, like, it's okay when we have a certain level of finance or comfort and we're able to sort of alienate ourselves from certain communities, but that doesn't change the problem. We, if we're able to have that level of comfort, then let's do something to try to address it and fix it and be part of change.
Socially, Judah, socially engineering through television, music, and now social media. Socially engineering through television and music, and now social media. And really, like I say right now, is we have to be careful what we are digesting, because what we are receiving. Because once again, like to me, let's look at when we was coming up. Okay, right now you are much younger than I am, but right now when I was coming up, trying to ask when they ask you right now in high school, what do you want to be? Like what you want to be when you graduate. Even right now is I want to be a doctor. I want we what ambition did we really have back then? Like even now, these kids see what's out there, what they can be. If they want to, now is a chance. They can be the president of the United States. They can be the vice president of the United States. They can be doctors. They can be lawyers. They can be a YouTuber. They can be anything right now. But back then, we didn't have that option or whatever. Even right now, is you ask some of these kids what they want to do when they get older. I want to be alive. I want to have a chance to live. I don't want to die in my community of a violent death at an early age. I want an opportunity to live.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, socially or social engineering is nothing new, right? They just use different ways to get the masses to go along with a particular sort of theory or perception that they want to promote. It's part of the campaign. But I think so, we understand how that works. But we're talking about two men of, color, Black men, perhaps somewhat in the same age group, understanding our communities in many of the same ways that we understand our communities. They hear a lot of what's going on in our communities, that is destructive. And so, yeah, this is a concern because they represent our communities in so many ways. And so, for me, I think it's still important, no matter what happened 25 years ago. And you have to remember, like, Gangsta's been away for almost 25 years. So that stuff is really, really old. So if he's still alive to make change or to offer advice or to give a different perspective or to allow youngsters to sort of find a better way, because honestly, no matter who's on this live right now, we know there's no easy way out of this life. We know there's no easy way out.
You know what? I want to take a chance to take the opportunity to read Mobhead. What do you say? No matter what, Boozy would never have the level of street credit that Gangsta have. Boozy is a shrimp compared to Gangsta when it come down to the street. I'm gonna go as far as right now is, and to me, giving people the opportunity, feel out, speak. F all that. Boozy was 100% correct. If you're not from the street, you are not qualified to give an opinion. So let's look at those two and like listen to those two comment as we go back and forth. Because once
I
again,
need to be from the streets, huh?
huh?
Thank you. I said, I guess I need to be from the streets to have an opinion.
No, the difference right now
Oh,
is
I mean,
everybody.
I don't think that's okay.
The
Whatever.
difference,
I'm happy.
but the difference is right now. Listen, what people don't understand. Here it is right now. Guess what? You live in the street. You came from the street. The difference is you just decide that you didn't want to play the game of the street. And see, that's what and that's what people do not understand. So once again, everybody by sitting back, analyzing, and you can see what's going on. And you like right now, you smart enough to say, you know what? Listen, I watch you, Tut, all y'all guys. I watched different young ladies doing what they was doing. And you know what? I said I didn't want no part of that. So once again, that's what made you a thinker. See, a lot of times people can't think outside the box. A lot of times people feel this is right now, we're a product of our environment. And you know what? What I'm saying is you look at the whole situation, but you just was able to be, emotionally, I'm saying, mature enough to make the right decision. But like a
Yeah, and it
person,
didn't impress me. I'm
yeah,
not
exactly.
impressed. That didn't impress me. You didn't impress me. Tut didn't impress. No one impressed me by doing negative things. I understood it. I knew what people were doing, and I lived in the most dangerous community again in the United States. It didn't change that that you guys were doing things. I still had hopes. I had dreams. I wanted to make something of my life other than sort of being a statistic so that I can also feed all of the same people that we all claim we don't necessarily like and who hate us, but we are feeding them an income, correction officers, lawyers, judges, court officers, security. All these people are all getting a check and they all have a home. They all have a place to live in. They all have meals on the table. They all have a pension. They have health care. But yet all of the people that we're talking about barely can scrape two pennies together. It's like, come on, that's like ridiculous, honestly.
But
So if
sit back.
that's how people see their life, they just want to be a product for the capitalist society. They don't want to like be at least on some kind of playing field in the society. Then that's up to them. Hey, glorify whoever you want to, like that's all good. It doesn't matter to me. I'm just saying, like, there's options and choices in life, and you can either, I think it's strong to look at people and be like, yeah, whatever, you're not all of that and I'm not doing that, I'm over here, you know what I mean? Because I want to be able to have something more than a bunch of war stories.
See, but look what you talked about. A lot of times we have to get to that. People have to show us what right look like. We have to show people that, guess what, you can make a decent living. You don't have to destroy your community. You don't have to terrorize, be a menace to your neighbor in your community or whatever. But once again, we watch. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we are what we watch. We are what we see. We are what we hear. But once again, if only thing I'm receiving is negativity, what you think gonna come out of me? Negativity. But if I'm receiving positive, love, culture, development, growth, then guess what? I have a chance. If you reaching out to me and I'm reaching out to you and you showing me, listen, we're gonna stop that crab in the barrel mentality. Right
Yeah.
now is you trying to come up and I'm up already. I'm not gonna push you back down. I'm gonna take my claw and I'm gonna pull you up, and we're gonna pull each other up one at a time.
But
See,
these are grown men, or even, I don't know, whoever, but these are people. And then, I would say they're adults. So you want young people to respect you? Like, no, young people don't respect people who sort of glorify and glamorize things that are dysfunctional. Honestly, they don't. They think you're just a scrub. So you're just going along to get along, and they're just trying to survive. So if you feel like you get brownie points by, I'm from the hood. Well, you're not real. You reside in the hood. You don't own anything in the hood. You don't own a grocery store. You don't own a cleaners. You don't own the Whole Foods or the Fresh Market, or whatever it is. Like, you don't own not even a share. You don't even know how to invest in it. So, like, honestly, all of that, the community doesn't even belong to you. So the streets, that block you're talking about, if the man, whoever we want to identify the man as, decides that block is done, they can do that overnight, like how they sent our behinds in the house for 2 years with COVID. Everything is shut down. You heard me, people? Bye, off, out. You couldn't do nothing. Then I call that power. If you talking about all of this street stuff, when the man is like, okay, everybody, lights out, it's done, no jobs, nobody's moving, the whole country is shut down. That's power. Now, when you start talking like that, you're on a different level. But if you're talking about some street that you don't even own, come on.
but
A bunch of the blind leading the blind.
but
It,
look
it
what
doesn't make sense. I'm
you,
for my babies. You guys keep pushing forward for the positive. That's all.
but sit back and think about it. Look what you just got finished saying, and it make a lot of sense. But the difference is right now is we got to get them to understand how to get out of their own way,
Yeah.
how
It's a block.
to change their mindset. And to me, right now is, you know
Respectful.
what? I had to keep going through what I went through. I had to keep going through the pain, the suffering. And before I finally that light bulb went off, I had to keep hitting my head against that wall. Boom, Boom. Then one time I'm like, wait a minute, that sucker really, really hurt. The next time I hit my head against the wall, it might be the last time. It might be over. But once again, you know what I'm gonna need to do? I need to change the people that's in my circle. I need to make sure, wait a minute, I was just listening to Ask Dr. Elisa. And I was listening to some of her commentary and some of the things that she was saying. Like, look, wait a minute, hold up. You mean to tell me that I can probably learn how to invest? I can learn how to be build my credit, get my own home, start my own business. Wait a minute here. You know what? How can I get more advice? How can I follow this woman? How can I contact this individual to get the more information that's going to help me be where I need to be in life? Because once again, right now, if I'm blind and I'm following behind somebody that's blind, we're going to stay blind.
Then we're gonna get mowed down in the middle of the New Jersey Turnpike because we're both gonna walk across a road with moving, cars. So yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me. And I think it takes a really smart person to learn from the mistakes of others and to be open to learning and experiencing new information and ideas. Because if we only take this one road, it will lead us nowhere.
Look at this. She's speaking fact. Much love to this beautiful black queen. Because once
Oh,
again,
thank
folks,
you,
listen,
Mob.
what y'all got to understand is this. You know what? Here it is. I'm not getting a dime. She's not getting a dime. We just taking our time to trying to build something. Me and her, like I said, we go back years ago. Like I told you right now, when I met her, she was a little girl. I was, right now, like probably 40, 50 years old back that time.
You know,
But
he's just whatever.
the same token right now is when we came back into each other life now and we start sharing, talking about different things. When you can talk to a person on the phone and they can literally have you in tears, you know what? That speaks volume. I'm saying right now is because once again, all wise men seek knowledge from the cradle to the grave. You got to continue to learn. And a lot of times we don't want to learn. We don't want to listen. We get to a certain point in life, guess what? We can stay stuck. We can't stay stuck, folks. We got to get together. This guy right here, I like what he's saying. He came up, Kevin Langford. Hey, Glaze, I am a super massive fan of yours. Thank you for doing what you're doing and saying what you're saying. It need to be said. Much respect from Kevin Langford, Australia. Folks,
Thank
okay,
you, Kevin.
folks, thank you, Kevin.
I mean,
Folks,
you didn't direct that to me, but I'm just taking in the love too. Why not? You're giving it out, so I'll take it.
but what I'm trying to say, look what they're saying is like what I'm saying, all the way from Australia, all the way from Australia. When me and you was in Cyprus many years ago, who would think we would be like, able to have a voice right now is talking to people in the United States, but also in Jamaica, also in Australia, So right now, I'm gonna take one more before I let you continue. This is M. Dizo De Niro. You know him personally. You
Yes.
know him?
Yes.
Yeah,
Hey, De Niro.
that's my little brother, man. Like I said right now, I got a lot of respect for his family. His mom's, his grandmother, may her soul rest in peace. She just recently passed. His grandfather, powerful people, man. His uncles. I'm saying right now is one of his uncles is a legendary DJ in New York City. His other uncle, man, my man Gray. Gray was a monster. He was a CEO on Rikers Island. And he like he was a CEO on Rikers Island. And what G-Man say, that's what goes. He'll tell everybody, look, shut up, get out the mess up, y'all use it, man. So shout out. But MDZ De Niro, everyone want love from the street until they realize the street don't love them. Street love is the fakest love ever. Read that over again for me, please.
Everyone wants love from the streets until they realize the streets don't love them. Street love is the fakest love ever. And I tell you, no one can say that better. That was well said.
That's checkmate. And right now, this brother is younger than me, man. But once again, guess what? Wise man. All wise men seek knowledge from the cradle to the grave. And you know what? You can learn from anybody. And that's what people do not understand. And I like that, man. Hey, M. Diesel De Niro. Hey, I love that. Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
No, he's absolutely right. It's interesting. For several years, I worked in homeless services with the chronically mentally ill, and in some of the facilities, particularly those that were like, say, licensed facilities and that kind of thing, so they were not necessarily locked institutions, but they required a lot of support in order to live independently. And I tell you, they would pass away in their room, and many of these people were formerly incarcerated and that kind of thing, some of them very young, sort of aged out of foster care or aged out of some kind of juvenile institution, and they had no one. When I say no one, I mean no one. No one. And all of the street cred and all of these people, no one cared. No one cared anything about them, nothing. And it was so depressing for my team to experience that, where you have people who had spent 20, 30 years incarcerated, and the only place they were able to be discharged or released to was a shelter or a supportive housing environment. And really, it took everything to try to get them on their feet. But after many years of being institutionalized and being beat down and not really addressing many of the concerns that, happened when they were young, they were just lost. And when I tell you, person after person, it's the numbers are staggering. When you look at, Skid Row in LA, like the number of people, I've gone there for fact finding. I've had conversations with people. People just don't have all of these friends and all of this support. So I am going to say shout out to Gangsta, because whatever it has taken for you to get out of prison and to go back to your community and try to make a difference, that takes work. It's a lot of work. It's not easy. So to say we'll just stay in prison and die, that's not an option. If there's another way, try that, because honestly, people just don't have anyone there for them. And I'm talking about on the streets. I can't even imagine in prison. I just can't even imagine.
You know what?
People forget about you. Like, how many
People,
times when you have a problem, your phone rings and someone is like there to offer you support or guidance or resources? No one's there. We living in a fairy tale world, and if we want to continue to go down this road with young people, sadly, there's going to be no real desire to even want to live, because they'll see quickly that no one is there for them and they don't have any way to survive.
you know what? And that's another thing what people do not understand is this. And even right now, going back to that interview, and what we speaking about, folks, is right now is it's a word of wars that's going on between Boozy Badass, you know what I'm saying, versus Terrance Gangsta Williams. And basically right now is Vlad, basically right now is ask Boozy, how do you feel about Terrance Gangsta Williams? Terrance Gangsta Williams, if you don't know, is Birdman and Slim Williams, brother of Cash Money Record. And right now, he just came home from doing, you know what I'm saying, 24 years. And right now, is Boozy's trying to badmouth him, saying that, he made a deal, he told on the dead, or whatever the situation may be, and he came home. But even like something that Terrance say, like here it is right now, is like this man, if you listen to Boozy Badass, right now, influencer, rapper, got people making huge amount of money or whatever. But like you talk about, this man was a legend. This man was this and that, and how many people you got in the book and what. But how many guys that in your legend book that you sent money to for their commissary? How many guys did you say, well, let me go check on their family. Let me see if their kids is all right. Let me see if their kids need money to go to school, or they need money for rent, or need money to keep the lights on. See, a lot of times people do not understand. Everybody are all friends and good with you until you go to jail or you go to the graveyard. When you go to the graveyard, yeah, you're going to have people come around crying and mourning your death. Or when you go to jail, initially they might show you some type of support,
Yeah.
but surely all that go away. Let me tell you something with me right now is one thing about me was how many people did I look out for that was incarcerated? Right now was I learned that because I knew from being there how many people didn't have nobody, how many people wasn't getting visit, how many people wasn't getting packaged, how many people wasn't getting commissary or getting taken care of. So what again is I may go on visiting these people that was lost and step back behind a wall. I made it cool. I made it a style because once again, how do you get back? Let them know you didn't forget about them. But once again, we all are caught up into this fake world. Okay, these fake rules and regulation. Everybody want to say we got real rules and regulation, street codes. You know what? Like I told you, all that stuff is overrated. Do you know how many brothers and sisters that's incarcerated now that had an opportunity to make a deal to get their freedom back today? What they would do? So the difference is right now is guess what? It's no you. Everybody sitting back there thinking about oh this person this person that. You know how many times those folks waking up in nightmare and cold sweat, knowing they gonna die in jail, knowing they ain't gonna never get back, knowing this was a waste of time. This was a bunch of baloney. But guess what? We still want to saying perpetrate this front. That front stopped now. That front stopped today. You know what? Stop judging people.
I want to ask you a question. Everything you said was totally correct. And what about the piece, the little piece, the missing puzzle, in terms of the missing piece to the puzzle is around our social and human need to be connected to have an emotional connection to someone, to have a love connection. You know, when you're incarcerated, you don't have that. There's no so what happens? Do you totally change your thinking towards, like, say, if you were a heterosexual man, do you stop feeling those emotions and start looking other places? Like, there's so many things that go on when you are incarcerated, how your mind begins to adapt to a circumstance, to a situation in order to survive because you want these human connections. So for people to just say, oh, just let people die, in prison, that you need to keep some kind of code, it's insanity. It makes no sense because what are we saying? Are we saying that people should lose all connection to their need to be connected to human beings, to be connected to have that emotional and love connection?
That's very deep, but that's once again is what you stand on, because I see a lot of people like you say, like one of the guys from the old Cypress neighborhood, Jamaican guy, right now is he's supposed to be this and that, Rasta Chris, Jamaican Chris, everybody know him. Right now he got life, and right now is guess what? He started basically right now intervene. He let it go and start being involved with men's in there. And to me, right now is come on. It's like, and don't get me wrong, like you say, because circumstance break people. Circumstance break people. To
I'm
me,
so happy you said that because, I know what I've experienced by working with people.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that it breaks them. But, we have this image of prison as though it's this glamorous place, and you come out strong, and you look at this person, they stood the test of time. No, they went through a lot to even make it. So yeah, I much respect to Gangsta, and may Allah continue to guide him on the right path so that he can do what it takes in order to stabilize his life. Because there's a lot of trauma. You've had 25 years to get through that. And like you said, even today, you're still struggling through different aspects of that. And so why would we want our young children, when they're still developing, to go through that? You're 16, 17, and you get 20 years. That's what you want when you're in your developmental stage of life. Do you want that when you're connecting with people, when you're forming relationships, when you're thinking about future ideas around what you want to do with your life? Do we want them incarcerated? Is that the kind of image we want to put out there? I don't think so. I just don't think so. I think, and it's not about the snitching. It's not about who you ratted on or how many rats. Like Look, you need to be concerned whether you have mice and rats in your home that could be potentially causing, asthma and things like that to or your children, or you have toxic people in your home that are abusing you both, emotionally and financially. We need to be thinking about those kinds of rodents. But we do need to figure out how can we stop with the dysfunction in our community so there's no need to rat on anyone.
Mm-hmm.
We're just building our community. And there's examples of healthy communities. And why is it that when people make money, they decide they want to move out of their community?
They want to
That's
escape.
insane.
They want to escape.
They want to escape because they want what?
They want
They
to
want
live. They want to be happy. They want
right,
peace.
normalcy, they want, safety, perceived safety, they want clean streets, they want clean roads, whatever it is, so yeah, people don't just want to live where it's all violence, it's all dysfunction.
And folks, just in case you are joining us and you came into the middle of the show, basically what this is me and I'm saying Dr. Lisa, Celebrity Doctor. What we decided to do is like it was a hot topic in regards to rapper Boosie Badass, Little Boosie. Basically, right now went on Vlad TV. Vlad got one of the biggest platform as far as on social media, over 5 million subscribers. I went on there, did a piece a couple years ago. Well, right now 1.6 million views. Terrance went on there, and within 3 weeks, Vlad dropped. I'm saying the whole interview. Within 3 weeks, it hit 1.3 million. Like I say, mine was like 2 years old, hit 1.6. So anyway, Vlad asked Boosie about Terrance, Birdman brother. And right now is Boosie has so many choice words to say. Basically, what he's doing is he's basically praising him for destruction, like who he once was, and the things that he did way back when that cost him 24 years out of his life. Terrance basically denounced that. Okay, he got his freedom back. He said, "Listen, man, Okay, what that was then, this is now. I don't want no part of that. If he had a chance to do it again, he probably would do something totally different. Now that he's out, living his best life, now what he's trying to do is share his story to get these at-risk kids to understand it's no shortcut in life. Only thing come fast is destruction. Only thing come fast is life imprisonment. Only thing come fast is an early death. Only thing come fast is you lose your family, you lose everything, you lose your mind, you lose your peace, you lose your freedom." So once again, he's on the right track. So Boosie Badass got a problem with that. And he just basically right now, well, how he got out, he made a deal or whatever. Like let he or she without sin cast the first stone. I wasn't there. Boosie definitely wasn't there. Nobody was there. That man is free, living his best life. Let him live, man.
Yeah,
Let him live.
I mean, 25 years, and people say, the people who he hurt will never get their life back, and I personally understand that. uh, at the same time, it's not us who make these kinds of decisions, right? Government has certain laws and policies and ways that they go about making these decisions around how much time you will serve for a particular uh, infraction or incident. And so, who are we to judge the system's decisions around that? And if we have a concern around how those decisions are made, then we need to do some advocacy and see what we want to do again around the criminal justice system. You and I discussed the bail reform and how many people are repeat offenders and they're very violent occurrences and offenses. So if we want to see change, then we need to advocate for that. In the meantime, this was the decision that was made for Gangsta, and he seems like he's taking that and using it for the positive. But
Yeah.
25 years is not a little bit of time. I mean, a life sentence, and at least based on, you probably know this better, but based on my understanding, 25 years is considered like a life sentence, right?
It is. And
Oh, okay.
but what we have to do is what we have to understand is right now, everybody stop acting like they're perfect. Nobody's perfect. Nobody out here, nobody is perfect at all. And stop acting like we perfect or whatever. Stop judging. Like who died and left us boss to judge, you know? And that's all I'm trying to say. So right now, no,
Or bring your perfect decisions to, the Bronx or South Side of Chicago, or different parts of this country where the crime rate is out of control. Take all of that energy and help those moms, those dads, those grandparents, so that they can live some level of peace, in their final days. Like we are not dying, like we are dying actually quite premature, right? People are dying in their 40s and 50s. Our young people are dying in their teens and 20s. We're not getting to 80 and 90 in our community. And until we try to figure out how to bring some kind of love, right? Some kind of understanding, some modeling good behavior, reinforcing the need to do good and be good. I mean, we're going to continue to have our grandparents wanting to go out to the store at 7 in the morning so they can avoid what they quote unquote the bad kids.
demon time.
Why should a grandmother feel that way? And you call yourself a bad guy, so your grandmother has to creep around holding her bag so close that she's afraid because someone may knock her down. You call that a gangster? I call that a scrub.
Hmm? And see, that's what it is. We gotta get the best of it. No coming. I respect a man on the path to redemption. Keep it up. Like I said, I didn't have no other choice, man. Like I told you, I did have a choice. I had a choice. I could have continued to keep that loser mentality, but I knew I was better than that. I knew right now I was blessed and highly favored, and I knew right now was what I was going to do when I get back out. Like everybody keep trying to say right now is guess what? The do's and the don'ts. Right now is never think you're too good to do anything. Right now, if I have to go somewhere and clean up something, become a janitor, sanitation worker, guess what? I can do that. I'm willing, ready, and able. I like to walk around like clean, suit and tie, or casual dress. But if I had to put on some, Timbs, put on some khakis, what I'm saying, hoodie, shirt, gloves, mask, I can do that. Because right now that's what the worst thing I had to do in my life was when I was in prison. Like I said, I think I was 18, 19 years old. I was in Greenhaven Correctional Facility. I was in one of the worst blocks. We had one of the worst COs. And they made me the porter of that, on my tier. Okay. So here it is. The worst thing I had to do, it was this shower that we all utilized. It was so filthy, fungus, nasty, disgusting. And you know what? I took it upon myself. And I went to that CO that nobody didn't like in there. His name was Bader. Okay, so all y'all old timer from New York, y'all, oh snap, I remember that old crazy dude. But I went to him. I said, look, I need this. Give me this so I can go up there and clean that shower. So he gave me what they had. I went up to that shower. Okay, I scrubbed, I rubbed, I did everything I can possibly do. Spent hours doing it. And you know what? Here it is, the result. I got as clean as I could. These old timers, like my fellow inmates, my prisoners, they start coming up to me. Baby Gibbs, yo, Glaze, oh man, thank you, man. That's a hell of a job. To me, that was equivalent to cleaning a damn outhouse. Mm-hmm. So once again, I sit back and always kept that in my mind.
For free.
I kept it in my mind. If I can do that, I can do anything. See, that's the difference. When you start thinking you're too good to do certain things, you already setting yourself up to fail in life. So even with that being said or whatever, never sell yourself short. And to me, everything starts from up here. Our attitude, our mentality, our belief system. That's where it all started from. So all this little stuff that people worrying about, who snitched, who didn't snitch, who stand on a principle. You know what? Like I tell you right now, all that is a bunch of lame, corny nonsense. Because once again, I guarantee you, anybody that's out there in a rightful state of mind right now is, guess what? You either tell us what we need to know or we're going to lock you up forever. Guess what? 99.99% gonna, hey, listen, this is what happened. So all y'all want to act like, oh, I'm this, I'm that. I'm not. Like I told you, I know some of the baddest preacher the Black Hand of Death. Like I said right now, had a bunch of murders. 6'6". What he did, he made a deal. Everybody, Lorenzo Fat Cat Nichols made a deal. Okay? Supreme McGriff. Right now is people don't even understand that. Right now is he was about to come home. When they snatched him up in 87 after he came home from his Elmira bid, he was on his way out the damn door. The United States prosecutor and the FBI agent went to him and said, listen, you either tell us everything that we need to know about your nephew, Gerald Prince Miller. If you don't tell us everything that we need to know, you're going to be on that indictment with him. Guess what? He was not on that indictment. Why? He wasn't on that indictment. He just got finished doing 8-9 years. He was on his way out the damn door. And they came to him, made him an offer that he could not refuse. Okay? Because if he was on that indictment and he would have got convicted with him, he would never have met Gotti. He would never have met Jay-Z. He would never have met Ja Rule. 50 Cent would have never got shot. So what I'm saying is this: a lot of stuff go deeper than the original surface. Everybody want to say what they will and what they won't do. But people do not understand it's a lot of deals that is being made behind closed door that nobody know nothing about. But everybody want to act, I'm the stand-up guy. I'm this, I'm that. You know what I'm saying? Period. I'm this, I'm that.
I wish we would put.
I just got a message. I just got a message from my friend, Terrance Gangsta William. So
Hey,
right now,
Terrance.
so right now is I sent him the thumbnail for our piece, and right now he said yes, I like it or whatever. And like I say, folks, that's what it's all about or whatever. So I apologize. You know I sometimes I get passionate, emotion involved, but I want people to understand facts is facts. I don't got to get over here and candy coat anything or whatever. I don't live my life. I'm good. I'm not going to, I don't worry about what people think. I don't worry about what people say. I came from that environment. Sticks and stone may break my bones. But guess what? Words would never hurt me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you put things in perspective, because I would really love to know more about the people who was a part of bringing Black people over here as slaves, which is part of why our outcomes have been extremely poor on every social determinant of health. So I would really like to know if we can put that level of energy in holding people accountable for capturing people who are minding their own business in an entire land thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of miles away from these shores, and we don't put that level of energy into any conversations really around we deserve reparations for the mass destruction that has been done to our communities and has been done to our mind and our body. Like, we really have been psychologically damaged, and it's scary. It's really scary. You know, all of these things are so mute, if you will. They don't mean anything. If you're doing crime, America has policies and they have laws and they have legislation and they have jails. They have everything they need to respond to the social problem. When you respond to a social problem, you hire people. It's not like America is doing it in a vacuum. They're doing it with their citizens. So they hire correction officers, they hire nurses, they hire social workers, they hire maintenance people, whatever is needed in order, judges and court officers and all this kind of thing, to make sure all of these systems work. If that's what you want to do, continue to be a product on Amazon, then stay on the for sale rack.
Okay. Powerful. NHIT, Nazarene Hebrew Institution of Technology. It is our duty to give back and try and help these youth. I would bless and release on a Fair Sentence Act after doing 10 years on a 26-year sentence Do what you do, my brother. Hey, thank you. Shout out, man. Shout out, shout out,
Yeah,
shout
shout
out.
out to
And,
you.
and
Yes.
see, like I told you, folks, listen. One thing about me right now is this: if anything that on this platform or anything that me and Dr. Elisa World acts, what do we do? You come on the platform. Only thing I have two requests: be respectful, be mindful. All that negative and all that energy, I don't. It's like a no. So I don't even get caught up into that going
Yeah.
back and forth. If you're not respectful and mindful, I will block you. You will never get the opportunity to come back on a platform of mine again, because that's not what it's all about. These platforms that we trying to do, it's not going to be like we bashing one another, being disrespectful, yelling, screaming, cursing, and all that stuff. No, we
I
got
wouldn't have agreed to do it.
yeah,
And like I always say, hurt people hurt people.
mhm.
And if that's how they communicate with complete strangers for the most part, I really feel sorry for their families, because that's where it should start. Healthy conversation inside your home. Don't worry about us,
Mhm.
because you'll never really even get an opportunity, perhaps, to even see us in person anywhere. But if you can work on yourself and build a strong home and build a good foundation for yourself, 95% of your work is already done. And you don't have to care and answer to anyone.
Mhm. And that's what people got to understand. So what I'm saying is this, folks. Like what we trying to do is, honestly speaking, is we just sharing our point of view, our perspective on certain things. So right now is like, here it is. Right now is me and Dr. Lisa. What we trying to do is put together this podcast, coming real soon. So for the time being, what you can do is you can subscribe to the Brian Glaze Gibbs YouTube channel. Also, you can subscribe to the Doc Elisa World. Dr. Elisa World, subscribe. So right now, also, what is your handle on your IG?
The Real Dr. Lisa on IG. Yep. The
Okay.
Real Dr. Lisa.
And mine is, I'm saying, Brian Glaze Gibbs. So,
Hmm.
and like I try to tell you, people, you know what? Like she's saying, and I think it's very important to understand, hurt people hurt other people. And the difference is when I was out there, lost, confused, had illness, a sickness that I didn't even realize I had. Every time I got upset, I didn't think rational. I just black out and react. And to me, I had to get the necessary help that I need. So a lot of times people don't understand. Back then, I was walking around with a death wish. How can I love you if I didn't even love myself? And see, a lot of times people do not understand that. And the only thing I was doing is destroying my own community, hurting my own people, poisoning my own people. Why? Trying to get rich by die trying. And to me, it didn't affect or hit me until I was awake. And when I got that news on February 9th, it was a Sunday, February 9th, 1992, when I got the news that the woman that I love more than life itself, passed away, that was no longer here. And to me, that whole week, I'm talking about from February 9th to February 16th, I was in a trance. Right now, I was on a fast, not even knowing I was on a fast, because that's how depressed I was. Only thing I was, you talk about a transformation. You talk about praying. You talk about crying. You talk about throwing myself against the walls, beat myself up. Because the woman that I love more than life itself, I was not going to see again. I was not going to hear her voice again. I was not going to be able to tell her I love you. I was not going to be able to tell you, Mom, I'm done this time. When I get out, I'm never going back. I was not able to do that. And I ain't had nobody to blame but myself because of my stupidity. And you know what? Like I say, sometimes I say to myself and I think, my mother said, God, what is it going to take for my son to get his life together? What's it going to take for my son to wake up and get it together? Sometimes I think she sacrificed her life for my freedom. See, sometimes people always say parents know best. And even right now, people don't understand. When they talk about right now is, guess what? You know what? When a person died, you'll get over it. Time. I'm saying? Time, I'm saying? Only thing time do not, it's the same. Time heal all wounds. Only thing time just make that wound a little bit more bearable to deal with, to cope with. So even with that period of time, what I had to do is do some real soul searching. All my wrongdoing, who I was responsible, directly or indirectly for killing. Now coming right back at me because the pain that I'm feeling, whoa, you don't wish upon your worst enemy. So, like I said right now, folks, we got to be mindful. We got to be careful of what we do, or what we say, or what we put into existence. Because right now is when that trickle effect come back, that boomerang come back to a full effect, and it hits you right in your heart. Trust me. You know what? Can you stand the pain? No, you can't. Hey, that's my testimony. So once again, like I said right now, Boozy, hopefully right now you get the help that you need, or you find a peace with the situation. And that right now, let that man live, man. That man, if you listen to the words that man coming out of his mouth, man, like I said right now, is guess what? You can see the transformation, man. And to me, I know that man don't want no problem. Not saying if any problem come his way, he won't be able to handle it. He just want to live, man. He just want to, like, you know what I'm saying, count his blessing, put his past behind, and trying to save these out-risk kids or anybody that's out-risk that he can help.
And I think Boosie is probably thinking, well, why are people paying my words much, attention? Why is this becoming such an issue? Well, when you're in the public eye and you're out there making public statements, I think people want to just be clear or sure that, the young people understand where that's coming from and what's driving that, and want to see peace between two black men.
Yeah. But only thing different, like you said right now, is and that's what we have to do. We can't let nobody step our own pot. That's a different. That's why we have to get people to understand. And a lot of times right now is temper is what gets us in trouble. Pride is what keeps us there. I'm gonna say that again. Temper is what gets us into trouble. Pride is what keeps us there. So what we have to do is make sure, before we do anything, take that, calm down, relax. You know what I'm saying? Go for a walk. Now, before you say anything, think. The words that come out of my mouth, is it going to add value or is it going to take value away? Those are things that we got to look at.
What? Oh.
Now, like I said right now, I put stuff up. If I
Oh,
see,
okay. Yeah.
if I see some little things or whatever, and like I told you right now, that's where I'm at. So
Yeah.
anything else, like even right now, anything else you want to speak about? Like I was telling you about, I just seen something about our friend, from Brooklyn, the pastor, how he was in a world of trouble about certain little things going on with him, and how right now he owed X amount of money for, like I'm saying, a construction company, and how he defaulted on a loan for this $4.5 million for this housing apartment.
Yeah, well, welcome to the world of the United States of America, which is debt, upon debt upon debt. So, yeah, that could potentially be true. I mean, it could be a rumor. I don't know. I hope that he and his family are well, and I hope whatever the intention was behind the incident, whether it was, like I said, our young people making a decision to rob him and during a service with the parishioners present, that's a concern. And if he was a part of it in order to support, maybe this issue here around like satisfying some debt or helping him to, get out of a particular situation, that's also a concern. So, yeah, this to be continued. What are you smiling about?
You, you, I'm watching indirectly. Hey, like I said right now, you good. I'm watching some of your work, and I just made a comment and hit the love button or whatever. Some of the things that you're doing. What I did was I went to your page. And I see how you put the little thing with Gangsta and Boozy, and you walk around talking or whatever. I like that. See, that's the difference, because once again, when you see growth, and I see this thing that you're doing and trying to do, and you're putting together, you know what? I commend you, because again, you are a very busy person. Your time is very valuable, and your time is in demand. So right now is what you're trying to do is you doing your job, still helping, counseling, and helping other people, patient, but yet and still you taking time out to try to get back in other ways. So to
Mhm.
me, even by you doing that and I'm checking it out, I was amazed. That's why I'm like, look at that, like, okay, I see you.
Oh
So
my
yeah,
God.
sometimes you gotta get credit when credit is due.
Thank you. I
So
try.
sometimes you gotta get credit when credit is due. And like I say, folks, listen, tune in again. We would be doing more things together. And you know what? Put it like this: we're gonna be spontaneous because once again, if something's hot that's out there that we feel that we need to address, and we got the time, like, share, and subscribe. You know, look at that. You good girl. I like that. Yeah, I like that. But I like the picture you put up with Boo. You good, girl. You good. I like that. But that's what it's all about. You're learning. You're taking
Yes,
class. But
yes.
anytime, like I said right
Shout
now,
outs to you and critique.
shout out to me and Critique. I
Yes.
see you. I see you, studio. You know, and like I said right now, shout out to Critique, man. Because once again, this is brother. Like I told you right now, when me and him first interact over 5 years ago, we kind of battle. And to me, I can see I was rough. You know, right now he was telling me stuff. I didn't want to hear none of that. I wasn't listening, whatever. Everything was always combattle, like it's a battle. You know, and to me, when only thing he was trying to do was help me. But sometimes you can't help people that's not receptive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How can you try to save me if I don't want to save myself? How can you save these kids from the street or from self-destruction if they don't want to save themselves? You got to show them that they got a future. You got to show them that they got a chance. You got to show them if I believe in you, you got to believe in yourself. Because it doesn't matter if I believe in you, I can show you that roadmap. But if you don't want to take these steps and listen and apply the things I'm trying to tell you to do, I can't help you. Right now,
Yeah.
listen,
Yeah.
they
Some
gotta,
people just don't know how to
you
receive
know,
help.
you know
They
what they
don't
gotta
know how to
do?
receive help.
You know what they gotta do? You see this right here?
The
You see this
greatest.
show right here?
Yeah.
The
Muhammad
greatest?
Ali.
Sometimes you gotta swing until your hand get tired. You cannot quit on life.
Still
You
have
gotta get up.
coordination, really good
You got
coordination.
to get up. I'm
Mhm.
not going to be a failure. I'm not going to be a statistic. I'm not going to jail. I'm not going to go. I'm not going to be insane. I'm not going to be homeless. I'm not going to be
That's
hungry.
right.
I'm not going to, be a wino. I'm not going to be a drug addict. I'm not going to be a professional criminal. You know, I am somebody. I'm the greatest. I'm the greatest.
And it's funny you would say that because I think when people see people of color as millionaires or, with material items to kind of floss on social media, they sort of think that black people just have all this money, all of this savings, all of these resources, properties. They're driving around in, Lamborghinis and Mercedes, whatever it is, Rolls Royce. That is not the reality. Do people realize that the minimum wage in most states is not even $10? Do people, and that's an hour? Do people realize the average rent is like 1,500? Like, it is very difficult. So if you're looking at these people and that is your measurement for success, you're in trouble because all of the things that, Glaze just mentioned around homelessness, substance abuse, poverty, those are like more of a reality because with a lack of planning and preparation lead to those kinds of outcomes if you don't prepare yourself. So, yeah, people need to really wake up. It's not that simple. People don't choose to be homeless. They think, oh, this person's homeless because, no, they are homeless because they simply cannot afford the rent. And with families dying in record numbers, no one has a place for you to stay temporarily while you get your life together. It's just not like that anymore. So, yeah, I hope the reality like kicks in at some point so that people can begin to prepare and say, well, these are the 2 or 3 career interests that I have. These are the things that I want to study. These are the things that I want to do. I hope people begin to have better partnerships and marriages and and arrangements where they are purchasing property so that everyone can think about where we're going to live, as we age, as we experience different health issues and that kind of thing. Like, start to really prepare. Don't see yourself at 40 and 50 and 60 years old with no other way out. And that's where we're headed.
But see, why are we headed that way? Because you failed to plan. See, a lot of times right now we don't think about the future because we don't think we have any future. See, and that's the difference. It's like right now is like, to me, a lot of times, guess what we do? I'm gonna show you, Jimmy Calandra, a Bath Avenue story. Terrance, live your best life. You get one life. He did 24 years in prison. I'm glad he's home. Create a good life and spread the word. Don't waste your life. Great. Like you said right now is what we talking about is this. Here it is right now is look at life. We don't prepare for that word, the future, but we don't understand that future. Here it is. Look at this. You see what I got in my hand? Do you see this? This is a phone. It's a cracked phone. But it's a phone. It's an iPhone. Guess what? I got insurance on this phone. How many people got insurance on a phone, but they don't have insurance on themselves? They don't have insurance on their wife.
No
They don't
life
have
insurance.
insurance on their kids. They
No.
don't see what I'm saying is you have car insurance, you got cell phone insurance, but you don't got health insurance. You don't got life insurance. So to me, when certain things go wrong, help me to understand. So that's it different. These are the things that we have to bring back. Because a lot of times right now, you think or assume these are things that people should know. But what are they doing about it?
I know. I've seen people come and they want, they need services or whatever. And I'm like, okay, what kind of health insurance do you have? And they're like, I don't have like health insurance. And if I do, it doesn't cover, mental health care, right? And or behavioral health services. And I'm like, okay, and then if they have more like government plans like Medicaid or something like that, many, private people in private practice don't accept Medicaid because the reimbursements are so low. So again, you're forced to kind of try to access government services and supports, and they have a long waiting list. So, it's just a cycle of just poverty and destruction and poor outcomes because of a lack of planning.
But you say lack of planning. You're right. You're right. Greg Adam, what's up, OG? I have been waiting on you to respond to this conversation. Our people are lost. This way of thinking is what keeping us behind in everything. Greg
Yeah,
Adams, you're right.
Greg, you
Yes,
are right.
you are 100%.
You
You know
are-
what? Better yet, you are 1,000% right.
yeah,
Right now, listen, folks, what Greg Adams said. What's up,
yeah,
OG? I've been waiting on you to respond to this
he's
conversation.
so
Our people
right.
are lost. This way of thinking is what keeping us behind in everything. And a lot of times people do not understand that we are lost. Not only are young and are lost, but adults are also.
Yeah, he's right. That's the problem. And that is because we're not talking about children here. We're not talking about 12-year-olds. We're talking about 42-year-olds or 52-year-olds. Like, we're talking about adults, and it's scary. It really is scary. Yeah. I was listening to something today, Master P. Well, I guess it was an interview he did recently with regard to the
His
loss
daughter.
of, right, his
Mhm.
daughter, and how he shared all of the efforts he made to try to support her. And you're talking about a man with means and even access, and a level of understanding because of where he comes from, how devastating substance abuse can be. And even with that, she was, she had her time, her times when she was really making a difference and trying to, battle this disease, but she succumbed to it. And he said his work now is to really try to raise awareness around this. And this just goes to show you, even when someone has means and all of the access, it doesn't necessarily change the outcome. So it is important for us to start really from the beginning and say, what do I need to do as an adult? How can I model good behavior? How can I manage my stress? How do I cope with the unforeseen situations? How do I communicate with my partner? How do I find peace in my home? All of those things are questions you need to ask yourself so that you don't find yourself at 40 extremely depressed and feeling as though there's no way out.
But you know what? See, and that's the difference. Like, look what you're saying is here it is right now. Is even though he had all the resource, and
Hmm.
even right now, everything that he tried to do to help. But once again, if you trying to give me help, if you trying to save me, that's like us being in the ocean. And right now, I don't swim, and I'm drowning, and I'm delivering, not trying to save myself. And you doing everything in your willpower to try to save me. So what's going to happen is either I'm gonna like, okay, listen, let me die. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because right now I'm just gonna bring you down. So once again, once you understand that I don't want to be saved, I don't want to be helped, it's nothing that you can really do. And
Yep.
see, people is the same. God help those that help themselves.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um,
It's
yeah.
crazy. You see what that say? Read that last.
Okay. It's crazy. Say, what do you say? Say when the people that say they love you will scream and pass all over social media, free him this and free him that. But when this man finds is that,
A chess move
yeah, a chess move. I
to
didn't, a
defeat the
chess
system.
move to, right, right. Yeah, it's considered like a bad thing.
And see, exactly, because that's the different or whatever. See, and that's why I try to tell you right now, all this fake love, all this pretending, like I tell you right now, is like, come on, we're not in school no more. I pretend to be your friend. You know what? We don't have to pretend no more. If
Yeah,
you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. That's why you got to make sure your circle is solid. And I'm saying right now is sometimes you have to test people. And once you
your
see anything,
$50 analogy.
yeah, but you know what? In actuality, we don't even go deeper than that. It's like
Right.
what we have to do is follow our instinct,
Yep.
follow
It,
our gut feeling,
that's right. That's right. It's your
follow our
defense
instinct,
mechanisms. Freud
follow our
talks
instinct.
about the defense mechanisms. It's just a defense mechanism. You can feel it right away, but we use like, deceptive intelligence to talk us out of what has been shown to us as dangerous. Our fight or flight will kick in immediately, but we have a way of saying, like, negotiating our instinct. Oh, no, it's me, because we bought into the narrative that we're bad, that we're negative, that we're not worth it, that we aren't valued. So yes, when we see all sorts of red flags, we say, "Oh no, it's not me." And you watch so much, you're on social media so much that you look at these people's lives, with one snapshot at a time, and you think they're living the glamorous life, and you're like, okay, I just want to tolerate this and put up with this because this one is doing that or this one is doing this. Yet your whole life is falling apart and you were given the warning sign. So
Yeah,
yeah.
but sometimes you can get the warning sign, but you got to understand what is the warning sign. What are you going to do once you get that warning sign? How do you address that warning sign? And that's it. So to me, right now, is your instinct is not going to tell you wrong. We got instinct for a reason. My instinct have saved my life plenty of damn time.
Hmm.
And
Definitely. I remember growing up in East New York, and I would get off the elevator in the building, and before I even like got off like when that door opened, like I would just take off right down the hall, like my key was out and everything. I would call upstairs and be like, "Have the door open," because I didn't know if someone was in the staircase, or like those staircases were rough, right?
oh,
And
no
so I'm
question.
like, I need to negotiate this. So that's just using my common sense, right?
Mhm.
Like that's just the way life is. Like I'm on my way up. And there was a thing we could do with the elevator. You remember this, Glaze, where you would be able to skip floors? So if someone was trying to get the elevator on another floor, we would do something to kind of make it like jump a little bit so that it skipped the floor so that the doors wouldn't open. And my father taught me that. That was crazy. He was like, yeah, you just like, you got to push it really hard and then it'll skip a floor because I don't want you to let anyone on the elevator with you. You're a girl. I
See,
do not
look,
want you to
look
have
at that. You
anyone
knew
with
something. Look, you knew some of the trick that I didn't even know, or
you.
whatever.
Yeah, he
But
taught
see,
us that.
but can I tell you something? Honestly speaking, I didn't even take the elevator. If I didn't have to take the elevator, I didn't take the elevator
Oh, you took
because to
the
me,
stairs.
I thought the elevator was a death trap.
Mm.
That was my personal
See?
opinion or whatever.
See,
I
I
always
found it as a safety. It was more of a safety net for me. The
not
elevator
me.
felt safe. As long as no one else was in it, it felt
Mm-mm,
safe.
not me. Like I said, I always felt it was a death trap. I always felt right now, you can get stuck. I always felt no. I certain things that I did not do under any circumstance. So, and you know what? See, that's the difference. I go by how I feel. You know what? Do I want to take the stairs? Hey, look, hey, I'm running up the stairs. That's my exercise or whatever. Even
We
now.
weren't allowed to take the stairs, like unless there was like an emergency. The stairs were totally off limits, like
But
going in
that's what
behind those doors and the staircase that no one can hear you.
no. But the elevator, they can strap you off an
Right,
elevator.
but we were trained not to get on the elevator with anyone else. So that was like if someone else was getting on and be like, "Oops, sorry,
Okay.
you can let that one go. I'll wait for the next one."
But see, okay, at least you know that. But what I'm just trying to say right now is I just see a lot of times people wait or they trap people off on that elevator, you
Yeah,
know?
if you let them on with you,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I definitely didn't play that or whatever. The elevator, no, I didn't play that. I was my objective is right now, and that's how somebody gonna get you right there on the elevator, you know? Let me read one more. What's my man say right here? Swig City, we are destined to become what we have already experienced because we failed to study the things and people who keep us blind and enslaved in a system that wasn't designed for us to excel or survive. Wow, that's deep. Let me read that again. Swig City, we are destined to become what we have already experienced because we failed to study the things and people who keep us blind and enslaved in a system that was not designed for us to excel or survive. And see, look at this. Look at this. You have so many people that's on here. And right now, where it's like at one point in time, close to 90 people on the platform, it wasn't like Terrance 5Gs. But once again, when you sit back and think about it, and you got the interaction, you got people basically expressing themselves, sharing their views. To me, I love that. Because
Yes,
once again, like I told you, that's what it takes. It's like, how do we take our community back? How do we help each other? You know what I'm saying? How do we teach one, help one? Like, and you know what it take? It take us to come together as a whole. It take us to build together as one. Right now, this ain't about you. This ain't about me. This is about us. This is about what we're trying to do. This is about right now sharing some of the similar, like in philosophy, and like what we're trying to do for the community. How do recognize as a problem and understand how to address this problem. Because years ago, had I knew what I know now, I would tell my moms, listen, mom, I'm hearing these little voices, I'm blacking out, and I just go into this rage. I could have got the help that I needed back then. Shout out to Mimi Green. Shout out to Mimi Green. Shout out. Thank you for joining us, or whatever. Hey, folks, everybody that's on this platform, this is what I want y'all to do. Right now, make sure you subscribe to the Dr. Lisa World YouTube channel. Okay, in the real Dr. Lisa on IG, on the Brian Glaze Gibbs YouTube channel, in the Brian Glaze Gibbs IG page, but also copy and paste this. I want you to copy and paste this, send it to each and every one that you feel it would have some type of effect on in their life. Do your cell phones in the message. Copy and paste it, send to people in your DM through IG. Send to people on your Facebook through Messenger. Share this because once again, that's how these messages get across. Because once again, you can get something positive out of it, and you could have said to yourself, you know what, my son Michael could really got something out of it, or my daughter
mm,
Denise really could have got something
that's
out
a
of it,
good
or my
point.
nephew Roberto really could have got something good out of this, or my grandson. These are things that people need to hear, and the only reason they're going to hear it if we share it with them. See, right now it's best to share. Like my mother used to always say right now, share. Sharing is caring. If
Mhm.
you care about these people and you want them to change their mindset and their behavior, and something that Dr. Lisa said today or I said today, let somebody else hear about it. Don't keep it to yourself. Share.
And that leads me to this. I do receive so many DMs and even questions in the DM. So I think we should use this opportunity sometimes to sort of, I don't know, respond to some of those questions if that's
Yeah,
okay with
yeah,
you.
good. Mhm.
Like, so, next time I'm like going through them, combing through them, but I think it's important to use like the platform to also respond to some of those questions. I mean, it's everything from, my child is 14 and, isn't really motivated around attending school, but I need to work. Is there some kind of support or service that I can, like figure out how to get him in? Or I think my child is involved with a gang because I found these different things around the house. Like all of those things are so important. And I would love to respond to each and every one of them. But I do think now that we have this platform, that we should, use the time to also respond to those questions. I also get relationship questions, which are also always interesting. And I feel like I can only speak as a cisgender woman, right? I can't speak, for anyone else. So it's great to have, a male perspective because I think that women, particularly cisgender women, who are, interested in men, uh, should hear from men about it. So I hope you entertain me with those
Mhm.
questions. It's
And
important.
like I said, right now, anything we, like I said, whatever you want to do, you know what, that's what we do. And like I say, folks, listen, what we try and do is get a better understanding when it come on. But if we got a hot topic or certain things that we feel that need to be discussed, one thing about us, she gonna reach out to me, I'm gonna reach out to her. And right now, we're gonna make time because once again, that's what's all about. Knowledge is power. And right now, what good to have a platform if we're not sharing or we're not spreading or we're not getting the stuff out there? So our objective is right now, how do we use this platform as this is not my platform. This is not a Dr. Elisa World platform. This is the people platform. And this is
Hmm.
what we're trying to do. We're trying to build it up, take it to the next level, and go from there. Our job is how can we help? You know what I'm saying? It's easy to be the problem, but how can we be the solution? How can we help within reason? Okay. But the difference is anybody coming to this platform, what we ask you, be mindful, be respectful. Nothing more, nothing less.
Okay.
Okay. So that
Okay.
note right now is like I told you, the topic what was the topic we were talking about right now is Boozy. As far as right now, his attack, against, what I'm saying, Terrance Gangsta William. And like I say, let he or she out sin cast the first stone. Unless you walk in that man's shoes, you can't pass no judgment. You know, you cannot pass no judgment. So
Yeah.
even with that being said, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna end this, on a nice note. Everybody have yourself a sensational Saturday evening. And once again,
Sensational
thank you.
Saturday. I
Hmm?
love how you loop those words together. You string words together like a really good quartet. I don't know.
You know why, right? You know why, right? I'm the
Why?
greatest. I'm
Oh,
the great. I'm the greatest. I'm the greatest. You say
nothing like some good old self love.
I'm the greatest.
Self
I love
love.
me. I love
Yeah.
me so me. That's
Yeah.
the difference. I love me so me, man. You can't get mad of a man wanting to come home. Hear
You
that?
got that right.
You know?
That's for sure.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
listen, everybody. Now it's time to say
Long as
goodbye
he
to
ain't
all of
lying
you.
on nobody. He ain't lying on nobody to get himself out. He's not like trying to lie on somebody to try to save his own behind, but
Yeah.
you know,
Hey, you right. So like I
yeah.
say, folks, thank y'all for joining us. Tune in next time. Same channel, you know,
Yeah.
same Dr. Lisa World channel.
Thank you.
Hey, good night,
Have a
everybody.
good
Everybody have
Saturday
yourself a
night.
Saturday, a sensational Saturday, and have a super Sunday. Peace, love, and
Sensational
prosperity.
and safe. Safe.
Oh, sensational and safe. Look at that. You go, girl. All right. Thank y'all, folks.
Okay. Bye.